County Commissioners to order. Will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ladies and gentlemen, if we could remain standing for just a moment, we'll have a moment of silence. And although we've been fortunate enough to not have any terrible incident here in the county, across this world, we certainly have some unrest. And also the people that are suffering from the hurricane in the southeast of this country, it's just been a devastating. So if we could keep all of them in our prayers. Thank you very much. Today is a legislative day, and time is allotted at the end of each meeting for the commissioners to receive comments from the public. We have a public notice here. If I can get it up here, we'll read that. Notice application has been made by Ricken Patel, President, and Robert T. Conley, Harry Corp. for a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license with BWLT tasting and delivery on the premises known as Pips Discount Liquors, 861 Washington Avenue, Chestertown, Maryland. 861 Washington Avenue, Chestertown, Maryland, 21620, which shall authorize the holder thereof to sell beer, wine, and liquor at retail at the place therein described for off-premises consumption. A hearing on the application will be held in the County Commissioners Hearing Room, R. Clayton Mitchell Jr. Government Center, 400 High Street, Chestertown, Maryland, on October the 22nd, 2024, at 10 o'clock a.m. At that time, any exceptions to the application will be heard. By order of the Board of Licensed Commissioners for Kent County, Maryland, Sandra M. Blackston, Clerk, Kate, Manager. Published in the Kent County News on 9/26/24 and 10/03/24. Then we have a list of consent items. We have the regular session minutes dated September 24th, 2024. We have our liquor minutes dated September the 24th, 2024. We have our closed session minutes dated September the 24th, 2024. We have Dogwood Festival of Galena Incorporated, an application for a raffle only dated October the 12th, 2024. We have Dan Matson, our Director of Public Works, County Roads Division, request to utilize MDOT/SHA blanket purchase order number 001B46000050 contract. Dan Matson, also the Director of Public Works, County Roads Division, approval to contract under MDOT/SHA contract number 477D21426 with Guardrails, etc., Incorporated. If we have no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve all 6 of the consent items as presented.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. And we have 3 special Class C license applications. One's for the Rock Hall Volunteer Fire Company for a beer, wine, and liquor license for October the 10th, 2024. We have a Dogwood Festival of Galena Incorporated Beer and Wine dated October 12th, 2024, Appreciation Day in Galena. And then Dogwood Festival of Galena Incorporated Beer and Wine, October 12th, 2024, for movie night. These applications, due to the fact that they're alcohol applications, are in need of a public hearing, and we will allow tonight to be that public hearing. So if there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I'm going to take one of them at a time so there's no confusion. The first one, I'd like to make a motion to approve the special Class C per diem liquor license application for the Rock Hall Volunteer Fire Company.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it.
On the second one, I'd like to make a motion to approve both special Class C per diem liquor license applications for Dogwood Festival of Galena Incorporated.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it.
And finally, I'd like to make a motion to approve both special Class C per diem liquor license applications for the Dogwood Festival of Galena Incorporated.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Very good. Now I need a motion to go into legislative session.
I'll make a motion that we go into legislative session.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. We are now in legislative session. Pete Landon is our Director of Office of Emergency Services, and Lynn Sutton, Chairperson of the Kent County Emergency Services Board. And Pete, before you get started, I'll read a little. This is our first read, Code Home Rule 8-2024, Emergency Services and Fire Companies. It says an act concerning Chapter 33, Emergency Services and Fire Companies, Section 33-1, Emergency Services Board Appropriations, and 33-2, Vehicles, for the purpose of decreasing time constraints for volunteer fire and EMS companies to achieve compliance with standards and revisions to be consistent with the Maryland Annotated Code Transportation article. By repealing Chapter 33, Emergency Services and Fire Companies, Section 33-1, Emergency Services Board Appropriations, and 33-2, Vehicles, and reenacting with amendments to Chapter 33, Emergency Services and Fire Companies. Now, I hope you're here tonight to just explain what I just read, because I haven't got a clue what that means. But
Yes, sir. Good evening,
Welcome.
everyone.
Good evening.
I can be real quick. First of all, I joined Chairperson Lynn Sutton from the Emergency Services Board, and we're here at the request of the Kent County Chiefs Association, as well as the EMS Council, to ensure that appropriate standards of compliance and accountability measures are taken within a more appropriate time than before. Basically, what the fire chief has asked is the time for a fire company to be non-compliant has been decreased. It could take up to 3 years to fix something that was out of compliance, and they're asking for legislation to decrease that time, and therefore would be actually increasing accountability and also making sure the safety of the public and the firefighters are in line with that. And that has to do with training, equipping fire trucks, and equipment standards. That's the first part. The second part is even more simple than that. The state of Maryland changed the law for what lights firefighters, volunteer firefighters can have and they can have, and this is just to revise Kent County's laws to be consistent with Maryland laws. Those are the only two things.
very good. So where do we go from here? Or do we have a public hearing on this?
Yes, there would be a public hearing afterwards.
Okay.
I just have one question real quick.
Yep.
And I remember reading this last night when I looked at the agenda. The fire chiefs, the Kent County fire chiefs are in favor of everything that we're doing here.
Yes, the EMS Council and the fire chiefs asked the Emergency Services Board to come before you all to request this legislation change.
Any questions?
Loser, that's. I wanna
Mr.
make
President,
that
I'd like to make a motion to introduce Code Home Rule Bill 8-2024, Emergency Services and Fire Companies, Vehicles, and for the bill to proceed with the legislative process.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Very good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Land.
And we have a couple, I think it's actually three proclamations we have that I signed, but, I mean, we all signed, but the first one is Ms. Carol Nyman, President of the Shelter Alliance Incorporated, Kent County Homeless Day, dated October the 10th, 2024. Ms. Nyman, I know you're here. If you'd like to come and speak first.
Well, Linda Kuiper's come with me. I'm the president and Linda is the treasurer.
Oh, okay, Linda.
And the
Nice
vice
to have you.
president is traveling.
Very
That's
good.
Sheila Berry. So,
Good.
Anyway, I'll try to be short. I spoke to you last year on March 19th, and since then, we've been on kind of really working very hard, meeting weekly till now. So we have formed affiliated fund under Midshore Community Foundation. It's under their 501(c) with Buck Duncan in Easton. We've developed a 6-month plan with a committee structure and officers. 4 people from Kent County are on the board of Midshore. We have committees, fundraising, a building committee. This isn't the best picture, but you'll get this. We were in the paper, Sheila and I, about the formation of the alliance. We've been meeting monthly since May at the Seventh-day Adventist Church. You can address the fundraising.
Yes, we're actively fundraising and trying to get grants. We've already been awarded 1 grant, and we're hoping to get another one. We have donations, and if anybody wants to make donations, they can make it through the Midshore Community Fund for the Shelter Alliance. And we also have some churches involved. We have Grace Community Church has a shower ministry where homeless can go and shower 2 times a month, and we have volunteers that are there to help take care of the people. I just want to make everybody aware of the homeless situation in Kent County. We all see homeless on the streets, in the plaza, downtown, and pushing shopping carts, carrying bags and things like this, and that's kind of like a stereotypical homeless person. What we don't see are the families that we have living in Kent County, mother, father, children, mother, father employed, but cannot afford rent because their priorities are food, clothing, babysitting expenses, keeping their car on the road. And we have some of these individuals in the hotel up on Sheila Road, some of them in the Driftwood. But the funds are so limited that maybe we can put them up for a week, and then we can't put them up for a week. We have one situation where mother and children are living with friends, and the father lives in the car. And you don't see those faces, but they're in Kent County. You don't see them, because you don't know who they are when you walk into a business, and they are employed, but they're still homeless. So that's the other side of the face of the homeless population in Kent County. And what we're trying to do is raise funds to help keep these people under a roof, safe, and just help them until they can get back on their feet. The rents are extremely high in Kent County, and just about anywhere. So it's almost $500 a week to be in the motel, but you have to save $4,000, $5,000 to even get a first month's rent, last month's rent, security deposit, and
Yeah.
if you can even find a place
Right.
to live around here.
Right.
And I tell you, you don't have to be homeless to be struggling
No,
to
you
find a
don't.
place to rent in Kent County.
Right.
Because to find a place to rent, I mean, my wife's in the real estate business in Rock Hall. She tells me, she said there's not a week goes by that there's not a couple people stops in there. And do you have anything for rent? You know, any. So
Right.
it's definitely a problem.
Well, and we know that the homeless population is just growing and growing, so I've told you about some of our situations we're dealing with now and the funding that we need to keep these people, these families under a roof and safe.
Right. I'm just going to address the good news. There's some good news here, even though it's, everything is really in place for shelter. We have an infrastructure of help from Midshore. We have a board of directors. We have committees. We have a model to follow from the Talbot Interfaith Shelter. We have their assurance that they will come up here and help us set up a shelter. When I was here last year, well, in March, the big ask was a building. That hasn't changed. A building would make a huge difference. We visited the Talbot Interfaith Shelter 4 times. I've taken Senator Gilchrist down there, several members of our board. And so when I was here last year, I said, I showed you a flyer for the launch of the shelter, a proposed 6-month timeline. According to Buck Duncan, we are ahead of where he thought we would be. We just formed August 15th. We have 70 letters out to churches. We have, well, $5,000, $9,000 promised, and a grant went in yesterday for $25K that we may or may not get. But listen to your radio on Sunday, WCTR. Sheila and I did an hour-long interview with Jeff Ferguson that was really phenomenal, so it's on that morning program. But last year, my ask was for a building, and it hasn't changed. We did go to social services, no funds. The Samaritan Group doesn't open until January. St. Martin's House and Barnes has 12 family units. They will not open till January, and the waiting list for those closed in July. So those are already filled. We have no transportation from social services here to a shelter. And I guess the one thing that was most disturbing in looking into 11 shelters on the Eastern Shore, the Salvation Army's closed due to staffing. Most don't open till November and December. I talked to Midshore Behavioral Health on Thursday of last week. There is one opening for one man at one shelter. And Jamie Williams, who will be on after me, ironically, has been so gracious. It's not even part of her job description. She's setting up transportation training for 6 of us, 100 free bus tickets. Those were for us to accompany individual women, men, couples, and families to a shelter. There's no shelter to take them to. The bus is to nowhere. So, I mean, I cannot stress that strongly enough. There's so much good news, but last year I used the words looming, impending crisis. It is no longer looming. It is dire. It is present. It is noticeable. It's affecting individuals and businesses in the downtown especially, because this is where people gravitate to. People quit a job because they were being harassed by homeless when they were working in their jobs. So this is what we're asking for. We need a building. Absolutely, it is the top of the list. And the 70 letters that went out to churches in speaking to a lot of people around the county, they have family money. We're the second richest county on the Eastern Shore, and almost equal to Talbot if you don't include St. Michael's. So here we are with the only county on the Eastern Shore without a shelter.
And we're talking about a 12-month shelter.
We're talking about a year-round 12-month shelter where people can come in, they can have programs, they can go along, whether it's record expungement, driver's license, job training, GED, all those are in place in Easton. So it's not like we're trying to reinvent the wheel. We're not. And their support has been invaluable. I mean, I like going down there and having lunch at the Tidewater Inn, but their support is spot on. Conference call every week with Mr. Duncan, just there. And so for some reason, we don't seem to be totally aware of where we are. And I wish that the news were a little more positive. But it's kind of giving us a wonderful opportunity, that I think, because we have a couple of families that actually have family trusts. And if there were a building on the horizon, they've spoken to us privately, and Sheila and myself, and said, you find a building, honey, we'll give you some money. So it's, we need a building. It's no different than last year, and we've kind of, I feel, we've done everything that we could in a short 6-7 month time frame. And that's our ask, and we're just grateful to be able to speak to you. All the stuff that's in here, we're going to give you your own folder with my hot off the press business card.
Well, you've certainly been very busy, and it's certainly commendable work you're doing, and
Thank you.
we'll see we'll all keep our eyes and ears open, see if
We have a building committee, we have, like a home inspector, a home builder, a realtor, and Bob Altieri would be here tonight, but he is sick with bronchitis or pneumonia, so, but thank you, and we just appreciate your time, okay?
You're more than welcome for that.
Last year, after your meeting, I sent you an email regarding a possibility of a building that was going to be given away. All you had to do was maybe move it. You remember me sending you that?
No, I honestly don't. I'm sorry.
It was down in Dorchester County.
Oh.
But it was a building that they wanted to move. And I think it may have even come off of school property.
Okay. Well, the funny part is that a lot of things were coming at us, but we didn't have any infrastructure. We had no sponsor, we had no officers, we had no board of directors, and it may have come across my plate, but, last year was kind of like rushing around to just trying to put together, it's like trying to put together a new business, I guess, right? It's sort of.
Probably a little harder than that, actually.
Well, this isn't a popular business. It's not like an ice cream shop or, so we have up, but I think that's where our focus was, trying to put together an infrastructure to come back to you with. And we've got that in spades. We really do. We have incredible people, and donation of the Seventh-day Adventist Church every time we want it, and, yeah.
And Commissioner Fifkin, you remember the meetings when we had with the Board of Public Works, when Upper Shore was slated to be closed, remember? The Carter Center has been sitting empty and I really don't know when it closed, but the heat and air conditioning is on in the building. Does any of you have any connections with direct lines to the Board of Public Works?
If my memory serves me right, it was slated to be used for a different purpose, for adolescent children or
Yes,
something.
for
But then they
juvenile
pulled the-
detention.
And I might stand to be corrected, but I think I'm right on this. The state allocated some money, because it's owned by the state.
Right.
And they allocated some money to redo the heating and air conditioning system in it, because it was outdated. And it's the Carter system, but they have a section that is for people that are addicted to drugs and stuff.
Rehabilitation.
Yeah,
right.
They have that, and I think it's something else
Well,
that
isn't
but
all of that in the Upper
it's all
Shore
one-
building? Because the Carter Center is a separate building on the same ground.
yeah, but I think it's all under the same umbrella as far as.
Yeah, it is,
Yeah,
but
it is.
Carter Center is
Ownership and
separate.
leadership and
Yeah.
stuff. And we thought that there was some movement there with that Carter Center. But I think the state's pulled the funding for, they earmarked $4 million to redo the heating and air conditioning in there. But then there was some ideas of doing this child's adolescent facility there. And I think that's, I might stand to be corrected, but I think I'm right in saying that that's been put off.
I think you're right.
And
you're correct.
the state pulled the funding of that, and, we're starting to see, I mean,
That was
we've got the state's got a little bit of, somewhat of a deficit, and instead of tax increases, I think they're taking a look at where they're promised money, and so there's more of that to come probably. So I'm not sure where that is, but we were pretty excited that something was going to happen there. And look, there's a lot of needs in the county there's kids that need help, there's homeless that needs help. They're all in the same, they're all very serious problems that we have to deal with. But right now, I don't think there's anything that's going to happen, at least for now. I think that's all been put on hold. So we'll just keep our fingers crossed and see where the future brings us. But
I heard juvenile.
we'll certainly keep an
yeah.
eye open for it, and
Yeah.
if we get a chance to speak on that issue, we'll certainly spread the word and let them know what we need and what we'd like to see there, so.
That is the most adaptable facility because it's not near residential. It has individual units with a
It's back there
central.
by itself. but
central
it doesn't bother
kitchen
anybody. It's,
and
close
allowed-
enough that if the people have to walk, it's
Yeah.
not that far away, so.
Yeah.
We'll follow that and
Thank
see
you.
where that leads us.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well,
You gotta
while
do
you're
the
here, we have a
proclamation.
Oh,
proclamation we'd
Yeah,
that's
like
we
to
got the
read.
proclamation. Okay,
It says,
here we go.
Kent County, Maryland proclamation, Kent County Homeless Day, October the 10th, 2024. Says, whereas the purpose of World Homeless Day is to draw attention to homeless people's needs locally and provide opportunities for the community to get involved in responding to homelessness while taking advantage of the stage an International Day provides. And whereas World Homeless Day was created on the 10th of October 2010 through discussions of various aid workers around the world, all of whom were helping the homeless in their own countries. And whereas the aim is for Kent County citizens to act locally on a global day, the emphasis is giving hands-on aid that is sensitive to local needs while being aware of the global problem of homelessness and feeling solidarity with other homeless shelters and aid organizations around the world. And whereas, since its founding, World Homeless Day has been observed on every continent except America in over 100 countries. And whereas, the Commissioners of Kent County, Maryland, recognize the homeless population in our community and the need for resources and opportunities to improve their situations. Now therefore, we, the County Commissioners of Kent County, Maryland, do hereby proclaim October the 10th, 2024 as Kent County Homeless Day. in Kent County and encourage all members of the community to become educated about homeless issues and to celebrate and support local good works. Signed, the County Commissioners of Kent County, Maryland, Ronald H. Fithian, President, Albert H. Nickerson, Member, John F. Price, Member, and dated October the 1st, 2024.
Thank you.
It's our privilege to
Okay.
provide you with this proclamation.
Should we get a picture, get a photo? Anybody that's office, any of the officers or board of directors of our Shelter Alliance, please come up for the photo op. And this is going to be, this is the best.
There you go.
We got a bunch of numbers. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
If we get to keep this. Thank you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Nice to see you.
I don't know about that. Jamie Williams, Director, and Katie Abbott, Economic Development Manager, Economic and Tourism Development. And this is Economic Development Week in Maryland, October the 21st through the 25th of 2024. And we have a proclamation for you. But
Great.
you would like to say a few words first?
I would. We all hear economic development a lot, so I just wanted to say a couple words about economic development. Economic development includes business development, tourism development, entrepreneurship, and workforce development, which is our primary focus. However, it also includes real estate development, transportation, infrastructure, housing, and community development, which is why partnerships and collaborations are so critical. So, quoting a former Maryland Department of Commerce secretary, economic development is a team sport. So, Katie and I are active members of the Maryland Economic Development Association. We participate quarterly in conferences, special programs, webinars, and learning opportunities with our colleagues throughout the state. And in some of those meetings as well, there's also people from other states that come in to share different programs that have been successful in their communities. So I'm proud to share that all full-time economic and tourism development staff have completed the MEDA Chesapeake Economic Development Basic Course. And as a certified economic developer, I do teach a component of that course. So Rose Osborne and Paula Reeder just completed the course in July. And the course is approved by the International Economic Development Council, of which Kent County as a organization is a member. And I also wanted to share that Dick Story, our Economic and Tourism Development Commission Chair, is a MEDA 2006 Hall of Fame recipient. He's also a MEDA Life member and a MEDA past president. So we've got lots of professional coaching and mentoring from Mr. Story. And we're very thankful for his contributions to Kent County. So the FY24 MEDA Year in Review is included in the packet. I did want to share that I currently serve on the MEDA board, and I'm the co-chair of the Professional Development Committee. And then a few of events that are coming up. The next basic course is July of 2025. It is a 5-day course, so it's pretty intense. But there is a primer, MEDA primer, that's held in May of 2025, and it's a 1-day course. So, and then the fall conference is scheduled for October 28th, and that is 1 day in Baltimore that Katie and I will be attending.
you.
Thank you.
Very good. We have a proclamation for you as well, and Commissioner Price is going to read that. He's your liaison board member.
Correct.
There you go.
And having said that, I've had numerous occasions to witness the hard work of your staff, the way you run your office. It's very encouraging to see. And each and every one of you do an excellent job in your different departments. So I just wanted to say
Thank
that
you.
to you publicly because you deserve it.
Appreciate that.
So having said that, we have a proclamation here tonight. Economic Development Week, October 21st to the 25th, 2024. Whereas Kent County Economic Development is an active member of the Maryland Economic Development Association, MEDA, and a nonprofit organization established in 1961 whose mission is to enhance the knowledge and skills of its members, encourage partnerships and networking among people committed to bringing jobs and capital to Maryland, and promotes economic development as an investment in Maryland. And whereas MEDA members promote the economic well-being of Maryland by working to improve the state's business climate and professionalism of those in the field of economic development, including other professionals with an interest in the economy of Maryland. And through its regular meetings, special programs, and projects, members address diverse issues. And whereas Economic Development Week provides the opportunity for the community-minded organizations to collaborate and share strategies, programs, and best practices for advancing Maryland's economy. And whereas the economic growth and stability of the state affect all regions and jurisdictions of Maryland. And Kent County economic development is an important component of the state's economic success. Now, therefore, we, the County Commissioners of Kent County, Maryland, hereby proclaim the week of October 21st through the 25th, 2024, as Economic Development Week in Kent County. Signed, the County Commissioners of Kent County, Maryland, Ronald H. Fithian, President, Albert H. Nickerson, Member, and John F. Price, Member. And it's our pleasure to present you with this.
Thank you, Lynn.
I do need a photo because MEDA's director demands that. Not demands, but she appreciates it.
Sandra, do you? Thank you. Thank you. That should be ready.
Thank you so much. We have somebody for put on your paint. Thank you. Put on the ring.
Okay, whenever you're ready. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Jamie, before you guys leave, I wanted to just, and it's all here, but there's a lot of exciting things happening here in the county too. Some up and coming things that you guys have been working on. Good job. And it's going to, a lot of things are going to be, new things are going to be happening in Kent County. So hopefully, fingers crossed. Supposed to be.
We're excited.
Next up, we have Mr. Harris Murphy. No, wait a minute. Let me jump. I jumped. We do have another proclamation. Is that just?
I was going to say, after hearing all these proclamations, I hope you're going to read one.
Well, we couldn't come up with the proper wording, Judge.
I can make one up.
We do not. It was just
President Fithian, the requester's not here. We can do that later in the.
Very good.
If you.
That's fine. Judge, sorry.
Come on. My fear of technology made me bring a date with me. I think you all are familiar with Dan Wagner from Atlantic Security.
Nice to see you, sir.
Good evening, Mr. President.
Nice to have you,
Commissioners.
Judge.
I'm here tonight to make a contingency request to replace or upgrade, and I'll defer to Dan in a moment on that, the existing access system in the courthouse, which appears to be obsolete. Again, I'm going to let Dan cover the specifics of it, but just briefly, from what I've learn from him. It's the system we have was discontinued in April of 2021. There are no longer any replacement parts available to fix that system, should the need arise. And it could become inoperable if certain software updates or other things occur, which would prevent us from, without removing doors and things of that nature. I don't even know, can those magnets even be deactivated? I guess they have to be in some way,
cut, yeah.
shape, or form. So if that were to happen, it would be very difficult to get around the courthouse. And I think the recommendation that he has made and that I've provided to you all by way of an email from him to the court, as well as an estimate, is to replace the existing system with a Pro Data Key system that I think is similar, if not identical, to the one that has been installed here at 400 High Street, and also replace the old obsolete system at the sheriff's office. Again, all of that information is contained in what I submitted, so I don't want to just repeat what you already know. But I did ask Dan, and he was kind enough to come along if you had any specific questions about why it's obsolete or what it means and how urgent it might be to be replaced.
Any questions, gentlemen?
Can you explain exactly what the cloud service is? I mean, I know it has to do with
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
cloud, but I mean.
So the way that legacy, what we call it, legacy hardware works with access control is that everything is contained in one central unit. And if anything happens to that unit, all the information is lost. It's not contained anywhere else, nor can it be backed up to be saved for later. So what the industry has done as a whole has migrated to having that information stored elsewhere. And by doing this, we can access not only the individual people and the data on the system from our smartphones or from computers, but it can be added ad hoc, ad fly, as much as you want from anywhere, anytime you want. So if there happens to be an emergency where something needs to be locked down, for example, in case of the courthouse, you could say, go right on your smartphone and hit a button and lock the whole system down where there's no access in, for example. That was impossible on the old systems. The bigger problem with the old system, and you didn't ask me this question, but all the old stock has been exhausted for net access, which is provided by Honeywell. That's totally gone. We couldn't get even parts on eBay if we wanted to at this point. So the danger is that if a surge or lightning or water damage or something could happen to that system, it could potentially lock those doors in such a manner that they could not be opened short of cutting the wires, which is suboptimal.
Who would have the say-so on the lock? I mean,
The sheriff's office runs and manages the access control system for the courthouse, so anything that
I didn't think
is
you were
added.
gonna let me play with anything like that, would you?
No, they wouldn't let me, and I wouldn't want to.
It seems to me, I remember some type of 50-year warranty when Dan and I met.
Was it?
It was like 50-year warranty or something.
Yeah, it's 50 or one of the two. It was something like that.
That sounds like the old taillight guarantee that my brother and I used to give people when we were painting over the summer.
50 feet or 50 seconds, whichever comes first, Dan.
And the other thing I would add, and again, this was included in what I sent you, is there is I think, fairly substantial likelihood, although without any guarantee, that whatever is approved would be reimbursed by the state through a security grant through the administrative office of the court. That bid request just came out, and we plan to submit it, and this is a Tier 1. They do consider it a Tier 1 request, and I have that submission from them if you all would like to look at it. But without saying that they were going to pay for it because they don't know what all the requests are going to be or what they might have to do, this would be what they consider a priority request for security issues. And again, I think there's a pretty substantial chance that it will be reimbursed through the grant. But
Very good.
Well, we will keep our fingers crossed.
Yes, we
But
do.
I mean, I think it's a situation where we don't have no choice. I mean, our courthouse has got to be safe and operational. So I'd like to make a motion to accept the line of security proposal to upgrade the existing access control system in the courthouse and to allocate $14,986 from contingency to pay for the materials and labor. I'd also like to move that we allocate $3,960 from our fund balance to pay for the first year of the required annual cloud service, which was new to me.
I think that that's an additional cost for the way the system is run now.
So that's my motion.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you all very much.
Request approved.
Appreciate it.
And I'll tell you, Judge, I've been here for a lot of years, and I always look at that courthouse as that it's run by the judge. And when you come in here, if it's a legitimate, I mean, I appreciate you keeping an eye on it, and it's your home.
Well, it's the county's building, I'm just, I guess, the current landlord, or maintenance man.
You're the
I'm the super.
landlord for now until it changes, so thank you for coming in.
Well, thank you, I
We need
appreciate all that you do.
It's our pleasure to supply you with it. Thank you very much.
Good to see you all.
You as well.
And thank you for coming.
Thank you, good seeing you.
Thank you.
Take care. See you. Good night.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Same warranty, 50 years on this one, by the way, Dan.
51, one of the two.
I think it's lifetime.
This is an upgrade.
Warranty for the lifetime of the system.
Or until they go out of business.
We've been here for almost 50 years.
Not you, the manufacturer.
Oh, okay.
Good night.
Good night.
Katie Abbott, Economic Development Manager, Economic and Tourism Development. Maryland PACE Program Updates, Commercial Property Assessed Clean Energy Agreement. Now, that's a mouthful, so you're.
That it is.
Explain it to us, I guess.
In September of 2016, Code Home Rule 3-2016 was adopted, adding Chapter 152, Taxation Article 7, Clean Energy Loan Programs, also a mouthful. And it took effect on October 20th, 2016. PACE legislation was passed in 2021, and the program was updated to include new measures that PACE can cover, including resiliency, stormwater management, EV infrastructure, and some others. And these measures are important and helpful in the county because we're a coastal county. Code Home Rule 6-24, reflecting these updates, was passed on August 20th of 2024 with an effective date of October 4th of 2024. A new agreement with Maryland Clean Energy Center is required with updates to the legislation. So that's what I am here for this evening.
Questions?
No, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to approve and sign the agreement with Mecca.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Katie.
guys.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Rosemary? We have Rosemary Ramsey Granilla is our Director of Kent County Local Management Board, FY 2025 Community Partnership Agreement with the Governor's Office for Children.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you. I'm just here to request approval of our FY 24 or 25 contract with the Governor's Office. This, that's my team. This is our allocation that we receive every year that provides the funding for most of the operations of our department, as well as important funding for several programs, including Healthy Families Home Visiting, Menary's Dream Academy at the middle school, and Beyond Your Mental at the high school. So I put the details of those sub-numbers in your background information, but if you have any other questions about the agreement this year.
Is it going to be the same funding you think available that it has been in the past?
Yes, we were given a small increase of supplemental funding. So we got about $15,000 more than last year's budget.
Oh, very good.
And we also are expecting additional funding for January, but that is the Enough Act program, which is a new initiative from the Governor's Office that I'll come and present more on soon.
Very good. Any questions, gentlemen?
There's quite a list of programs that we
It
get
is.
support with,
Yeah.
Thank you.
and they're very worthy programs.
They keep
So
us
I'd like
busy.
to make a motion to approve the FY 2025 Community Partnership Agreement.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Rosemary.
Thank you very much.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Now, Lacey, are you going to talk about what the county administrator, who is absent?
President
or
Vivian, I
Sandra?
can.
I'm sorry.
Yes, I can. The first item was the White Cane Awareness Day, and I'm happy to read that proclamation into record if you like.
Sure.
Okay. White Cane Awareness Day, October 15th, 2024. The white cane, which every blind citizen in our county has the right to carry, demonstrates and symbolizes the ability to achieve a full and independent life and the capacity to work productively in competitive employment. Whereas the white cane, by allowing every blind and low-vision person to move freely and safely from place to place, makes it possible for them to fully participate in and contribute to our society and and live the lives they want. And whereas every citizen should be aware that the law requires that motorists and cyclists exercise appropriate caution when approaching a blind person carrying a white cane. And whereas Maryland law also calls upon employers, both public and private, to be aware of and utilize the employment skills of our blind citizens by recognizing their worth as individuals and their productive capacities. And whereas the state of Maryland, through its public agencies, and with the cooperative assistance of the National Federation of Blind of Maryland, can and should facilitate expanding employment opportunities for and greater acceptance of blind persons in the competitive labor market. Now therefore, we, the County Commissioners of Kent County, Maryland, do join the nation and hereby proclaim October 15th as White Cane Awareness Day in Kent County, and recognize and acknowledge the importance of bringing awareness to our community. County Commissioners of Kent County.
Good.
And we'll make sure that Ms. Melba Taylor of Encore Associates receives that proclamation.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I do have one other announcement to make, and this is regarding the legislative bond initiative. We had a public hearing scheduled and a work session scheduled on October 8th and October 29th respectively, and both of those have been canceled because no proposals were received at or beyond the deadline. So we have no initiatives to discuss, so we will not hold a public hearing.
Now, does that mean some group couldn't still come forward with one?
I mean, they could, but they've missed the deadline, and we have nothing to present to the legislation next week. These would be shovel-ready projects, so if they had something in the works, I believe that we would have been notified by now. But if you know of something, we can
No, I don't know
vet it.
anything. I was just wondering if this was the actual end of it, or if some nonprofit or something decided that they, between now and legislative session, I guess we'll hear from them if they do.
Yes, we would.
We'll deal with it at that time.
Yes, it doesn't close the door for them to apply, it just takes them out of the vetting process.
Okay. All right. Public comment, media review. Anyone from the audience? First of all, I'd like to thank our new superintendent, Dr. McComas, for being here again tonight.
Thank you. May I just share some good news? It won't take long.
Listen, you can come with good news anytime.
Agreed. Well, so thank you as always for being so kind to me. I just wanted to share with everyone some good news. I was reviewing our attendance data for the month of September, and we should all be very proud. Our attendance in all our schools is at and above the state expectation of 94%, so we've had excellent attendance. And as someone new to our community, I have to say I'm so impressed Kent County parents send their children to school.
Right.
And so I just wanted to share that. I know that seems like a little thing, but that's always a strong step in the right direction. Also want to share, last week we had our series of back-to-school nights at all of our schools, and they were very successfully attended. Also want to share where we are with our middle school project. We are in the process of finalizing our MOU with the Stadium Authority because the Stadium Authority serves as the project manager. We had invited, there was 14 architect firms that expressed interest in being the designers for our middle school project. We were able to meet with them at the middle school last week for them to see the campus where the school would be designed. And so just that's where the design process is. And I'll be working to organize a meeting with Delegate Grice to try to get ourselves prepared for the legislative season related to the middle school project. So I just want to make sure that I'm keeping you abreast of where we are with that work. And then last but not least, I want to share that starting October 16th, so 2 weeks from tomorrow, we will begin a series of 5 community conversations. We're, of course, hosting at our schools, and I'm inviting everyone and asking everyone to come and bring someone with them. This is our community opportunity to put input into our strategic plan around instruction and climate, as well as our budget process, asking the community for their involvement and priority in how we formulate our school budget process, and then also our next facilities plan, because the current facilities plan has come to an end. So I just ask that the community come out and participate in those community meetings. They will be, the first one, starts Wednesday, October 16th. And the first one will be up at Galena Elementary. And each of the meetings will start at 6 o'clock in the evening. Okay, let me make sure I'm telling the truth there. Yes, meetings begin at 6 p.m. The first one will be at Galena, October 16th. Then October 24th will be right up the street at Garnett Elementary. October 29th will be at Kent County High School. November 13th at Rock Hall Elementary, and November 20th at our middle school. These are on our website. We just published this today, and we'll have flyers that we will be putting out into the community. So I just ask if you would kindly be ambassadors and encourage people to participate so that everyone's voice is able to influence our planning process for our strategic plan. Okay, so thank you for the opportunity, and next time I'll have more good news, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I actually have a little good news too. Of course, every time we change, if something changes in Kent County, I want to see how people are. And I've asked a lot of people, have you met the new superintendent? And the only feedback I get is that they said the Board of Education made a very nice choice.
Thank you, it's
So
very kind.
I've heard great things, and
Well, I hope to keep living up to that good start.
Very good.
So thank you, and thank you for the kind feedback.
no,
Well, to add
our
Encouragement.
pleasure.
To add to that, I guess last Friday you had some meetings with teachers, correct?
Yes, we did.
And I just happened to run into a group of teachers in Procolinos, best pizza place, or one of the best pizza places in the world.
I have
in
to
the
make
world.
my way there.
And I ran into a group of teachers, and I
By the way, he owns it.
No. I wish I did. But I ran into a group of teachers, and I knew 2 or 3 of them, and I asked them, and all of them had nothing but positive high praise of you, just so you know that. So those are the people they're on your team, and they think that as well. So.
Excellent, excellent. Well, again, I appreciate the encouragement, and I'm glad to know that I've made a good starting impression, and it's a long road ahead, and I hope that I finish as strong as I've started.
The problem is you set the bar pretty high early here. So you,
now I've got to keep
now
that
you got
pace.
now you got
Right,
yeah,
I got to keep the
got to win
pace.
the whole race now.
That's right, in it to win it, so,
Good leaders lead by example, and you're doing this.
thank you.
It's a mark.
Yep. Okay, well,
Thank you,
thank
ma'am.
you so much,
You're
and I
welcome.
will see you the next time when I see you. So
Thank
you,
you.
gentlemen.
And listen, I should have asked, Miss Jessica Voiles?
I think she's left.
Oh, okay. She was on a public comment to speak, but I guess she was on the sign-in sheet anyhow. Anyone else? John, you're not gonna be here next week. You better say something this week. All right, okay. Mike?
No, sir, I'm happy. Motion to adjourn.
It is time to
Motion to adjourn.
When his,
I didn't say I don't have to,
when Mike's speechless, it's time that we.
I doubt he's speechless.
As soon as he said no, I had a second.
Yeah, okay.
Got a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, the ayes have it.